Walmart just used a phrase most executives avoid: hiring recession. And that alone tells us something important about where we are in the cycle. Our strategy is not about dramatic labels, it is about mechanisms. And the mechanism here is simple. When hiring slows and hours flatten, income growth weakens. When income weakens but prices and debt payments do not, households bridge the gap with credit and by drawing down savings. That works for a while. It does not work indefinitely. What Walmart is signaling is not an immediate collapse. It is that the margin of error for their core customer is shrinking. Higher income households can still spend. They can even trade down and temporarily support volumes. But the lower and middle income consumer runs on cash flow, not portfolio gains. If real income growth stalls and delinquencies rise, behavior changes. Not because of headlines, not because of geopolitics, but because optionality disappears. In our 5-phase framework, this is classic phase 1, sliding toward phase 2 pressure. Markets can still look stable at the index level, while underlying labor quality and household balance sheets deteriorate. The key signals we track are hiring rates, hours worked, continuing claims, real personal income excluding transfer receipts, and delinquency trends across consumer credit. If those continue to weaken together, the probability of phase 3 credit stress rises. If they stabilize and improve for several months, phase pressure eases. Right here in the middle of that sequencing is where discipline matters most. And if this type of mechanism-first analysis helps you filter noise from signal, consider subscribing. The goal is not prediction. It is giving you a structured lens so you can interpret labor data, credit data, and market behavior with more clarity and less emotion as conditions evolve. As of early March 2026, we would assign roughly a 55% probability that this phase 1 and early phase 2 blend persists through mid-year, meaning visible stress continues even if markets remain resilient. We would assign roughly a 35% probability that credit stress becomes dominant by year-end if labor and delinquencies worsen together. And we would assign a lower but meaningful probability that forced liquidity risks build beyond that if funding conditions tighten at the same time household cash flow weakens. These are not forecasts. They are conditional probabilities that change with evidence. Brief disclaimer: this discussion is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. The discipline takeaway is this: a hiring slowdown is not just about jobs. It is about income quality, balance sheet durability, and the point at which consumers pivot from spending to repair. When that pivot comes, it rarely announces itself in advance. It shows up first in the data. Our job is to watch the sequence, not the narrative, and adjust probabilities as confirmations or invalidations emerge.